Welcome to the video. Today, I'm in Charlotte. It's really cold, so I have my jacket on. It's like 50 degrees, but I'm from Florida, so that's like really cold. I'm loving it. However, I still gotta adjust to the cold. I want to be eventually like Wim Hof, who can like control his body temperature and everything, like the yogas can do, but that's a work in progress. Today's video, we're gonna talk about a specific topic of mine called judgment. Should you judge people or not? What is judgment? Should you judge people, other humans specifically? What should you judge them on? And then number two is the later part of this video will be about my basic life update. There's a new thing in my life, a cool thing, a work in progress towards my goal that happened. And that will be it. But yeah, that's the later part of the video. If you're a new time watcher or whatever for this channel, I'm Tyler Van Jordan. I'm trying to improve my life, chase my dreams. And so I moved from Florida all the way to North Carolina, left everything behind except for the stuff I could fit in my car, all my friends, everything, have no network. And I did that to chase my dreams and to improve my life. And so there are, watch my other videos for like different metrics, I think, for like how successful life should be and stuff like that. That's not the purpose of the video. Okay, so the purpose of this video is judgment. Should you be judged? And it's just a video essay of what my thoughts so far. I've only fleshed it out a little bit, so forgive me. And then also, sorry, my phone turned off. And then also the life update, the quick life update. So about judgment. So should you judge everyone? You know, but you have to realize is my question to that is you will be judged and you judge everyone because it's part of being human. Um, because as humans, we evolved from monkeys. If you believe the evolution thing, whatever, I'm not going to debate on you, but our ancestors did not have the ability of language. They didn't communicate through language. Language is pretty recent in our history of being humans or our evolutionary period from where we became not from monkeys to humans, depending on when you think humans became humans, what modern day humans became, and so language was is a new thing. So how did monkeys, how do monkeys communicate? How did we communicate? And so because we formed societies, because that's how humans staved off the darkness of the world, suffering of the world, is we formed communities and pulled our strength together. And we did that enough. And that had such a good bonus for humans that we overcame everything. And we're now the top species of the world for good or worse. And so you as a human had to, your whole life could be destroyed if you couldn't read body language. And so humans communicated through body language, through their micro expressions. And so were in a group, and the world was a horrible place. We didn't have toilet paper, we didn't have free food or food that's really cheap or farming even. And so you had to rely on other people. You had to be in some type of society, some type of group. But you could be outcasted from that group, and then you would die in the wild. And so how did the people who passed their genes on, how did they survive? Because they were better at managing other people's body languages and how to analyze body languages. And so that was put into our genes because the better you were at it, the better your emotional intelligence, in other terms, the more likely you would survive. You wouldn't be outcasted by the group and then killed. And so that's why you have also like groupthink and all those other stuff because it was more advantage to be in a group despite all the side effects you could get. And so the genes encouraged that. People who lived were better at being in a group, working together and all that stuff. Nowadays you don't really need that anymore. You can be a one man show with the internet too, especially for business. But back in those times that wasn't possible. And so they had to learn body language. And so that became instinctive. It became part of our unconscious, the collective unconscious, as Carl Jung says. And that's true. We have some type of collective unconscious. That's where we get all the different myths. That's why we resonate with the same myths and everything, no matter what culture you're in. And so but also they didn't have language at the time. So let's say there was a guy making a tool, a blacksmith making a sword, but they didn't have, he was just doing it on the side. Well, if you wanted to learn from him, he didn't tell you what to do. You just copied him. You would look at his body language and how he moved, how he hit the how he hit the sword with his hammer, the different materials he used, and you would copy them. And that's from the book, the Mastery book by Robert Greene, that book Mastery. And it's about mastering any type of skill and everything. But that's how they learned back then. And so evolutionary, you gain that skill. And so no matter what you do, you have that. And so that's why you can tell if someone's being fake with you, if they're hiding their emotions and all that. And it's really hard to fake those micro expressions because they're so subconscious to you and they go so fast. They're in like, it's like zero point 0.5 a second. You can't really control that because that's really your micro expressions are controlled by your unconscious. Now, your actual expressions that you show to the world can be controlled. Your body language can be controlled, but your micro expressions on your face are very hard to be controlled. There was a book I was reading about this yesterday, and that's kind of what inspired me. So, like, you can tell if someone's angry, happy, sad, disgusted, contempt with you. Contempt was the hardest one for people to find out, to think that's what it was, to analyze it. And so that's that's just a part of being human. And you can hate God for making humans that way, or, this world sucks or whatever, but that doesn't do anything better for you. It just makes you more miserable. And so you got to play the game. And so I asked, so no matter what you do, you're going to be judged. And as a human, what they basically found psychologically wise is there are a couple things you judge about someone when you first meet them or every time you meet them. And there are a couple things you judge about someone if they're a threat to you. This is big for guys. And for a guy, every time I see a guy, I'm always measuring, can I take him in a fight? And you can say, no, not everyone does that or anything, but yeah, subconsciously you do, and you alter your behavior based on that, whether you can take that guy in a fight. Because if you know that guy, if you get in an argument with that guy and he's going to pull out a knife with you and kill you, or he can beat you up, your behavior is going to be different. You're going to be more respectful. And that's just a part of life. Part of being a man is whenever, that's just part of our instincts because we, as men, that was part of our behavior. That was our main goal for life, was being a warrior. And you could die from another warrior. So you had to really get to know, can I defeat these people? So whenever you had an enemy, you had to know, should I run away? Should I not fight him? Should I submit to him and be under his leadership because he's stronger than me? And so that's in us. And for girls, it's a little bit different. They always think, is this girl, if it's for girls, they go against girls, they think, is this girl more beautiful for me? You can look up what other girls do to other girls to like kind of compete with them over guys, for mating wise. There are a lot of books on that. And that's the truth. It's just a part of human nature. It's a dark part of human nature, but it is. And so it's not fair, but there's nothing you can do about it. And I think it's a good thing because it's a way for people to kind of assess your way in the hierarchy. So they judge whether you're a threat. They judge if you're a friend or enemy. And they judge how powerful you are, the resources you have, whatever they define as powerful, how much resources you have, which is really how rich you are, how much political power you have, because it's for survival. And you alter your behavior based on that. And you can say, no, it's not, but you alter your behavior if you're talking to your boss than one of your friends. You won't be disrespectful to your boss because he has power over you. And that people don't like to do that, but it's the truth. Your conscious, that's what you subconsciously do. And your conscious mind will lie about it. So your thinking brain will lie to you and come up with any different type of excuses or whatever. So you don't have to deal with the cognitive dissonance because you can't accept that fact. Okay. And so when I see you, that's for me, I instantly think, can I beat you in a fight? It used to be subconscious for me, but now that I know all that and a lot of contemplation and everything of my mind and everything, I know that. And human nature is dark. It's dark. That's what Robert Greene's books are about. They're all about, some of his books are about manipulation tactics and all this stuff. And he's right on that shouldn't stop you from reading those books because human nature is dark. and you will be taken advantage of if you don't know these things. And you can't just put blindfolds on to real human nature. And so that's really why I like Robert Greene's books. And now maybe I shouldn't be talking about these judgments. Maybe I shouldn't tell my friends there's something bad about them, or I didn't like what they did and I think they can do better. Whatever it is. America is all about freedom. That's the thing. We're not like other countries where it's more culture shamed. People have to have face. You can't disrespect people in public or whatever. But, you can't shame your family or your government or whatever. But in America, it's all about freedom. I should have the freedom to this. And that could be an argument. I'm not going to lie. But I want to ask you a question. Let's say you're the CEO of a company and you have some advisors. You have the other executive boards around you, the CTOs, the chief financial officers, CFOs, all those types of people around you. And there's a big problem. Your company is about to die. Something came out, the market changed or whatever. And your company's going under. You have a great idea, but it's a very bad idea. But you don't realize that, but it's a very bad idea. It won't work. However, your CTO has a great idea, and that idea will fix your company. However, let's say do you have the ego? If they say, I think that's wrong, I think that way is wrong, you shouldn't do that way. I think it's better to do this way. And he's right. And you know he's right. But he's the one who made the decision. Do you want to do that? Do you want to admit that your decision is wrong? Maybe it could tank the company. Will your ego get ahead of you? And so I say this because think of the company. You are the CEO of your life. You're the CEO of the company Life.com. For me, it's Tyler Van Driden's life. You are the CEO of that company, which is your life. You are responsible for your life. No one else is, nothing else. But how many people have an ego where they have to say, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be told. I want all these yes men. And so that's what I want to say. In business, do you want to have all these yes men around you? Or if you're a government official, you make a decision. Do you want all these guys to be like, yes, 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 that's the best decision ever? No, you want someone who will point out your flaws in you. Okay. And because it's hard to recognize your flaws, your ego gets in the way. And it takes a lot of work to overcome that. I'm still working on that. It's really hard unless you want to meditate 10 years in a temple or whatever and become a Buddha. But it's very hard. And so you want friends who will disagree with you on stuff, who think you could be better. And like I said, people in America believe in freedom. Well, he shouldn't tell me what to do. But if he's looking out for the best in you, but some people could be like, that's a slippery slope. But I have to ask you, is your ego big enough that you don't want people who can point out the flaws in you to be around you? Okay? Because that's what it is. Because if you don't overcome these flaws, what happens is you live in insecurity. And I will get on to that. But like I said, do you want that friend? Because for me, and maybe it's different for you, but for me, I want that friend who makes you uncomfortable, that tells you the things you don't like about yourself. Because that's what a flaw is. A flaw is what makes you uncomfortable to your perception you don't like about yourself. It's not something that's objectively true. Okay? Because, like I said, a flaw is something that makes you uncomfortable, something that makes you insecure, something that makes it so you don't want to look in the mirror in the morning and think about yourself. Okay? For me, I was too skinny in high school. I wasn't a good track student or track team member. I failed at sprinting. I was the worst sprinter ever. I was the worst swimmer on the swim team. I moved to long distance, and after the first season of training, I got to like 6 minutes and 8 seconds on my mile. That's not very good for a track athlete, just letting you know. I could have stuck with it, probably gotten it under 5 or 4, but I didn't want to do it, and I didn't like the environment around the track team and the people who were in it. But yeah, that's a flaw that makes you uncomfortable. It could be bad skin. It could be you're fat or ugly. You're fat, too skinny. It could be you're ugly. You think you're ugly. Not that you're objectively ugly, that you think you are ugly. And so there are two ways to overcome these flaws, that your friend tells you or you dig deep into yourself and you can realize these flaws. But that's very hard to look yourself in the mirror and objectively say, what are my flaws? Like, not, I'm trying to cover this. I don't like this about myself, so I'm not going to talk about it. What are objectively the things that you don't like about yourself, that you hide from yourself, that you try to make excuses for or anything? And so there are two ways. You can kind of cover over that flaw, or you can fix the flaw. You can lie to cover up the flaw, or you can fix it. And I don't mean lie in a bad thing. Okay? I don't mean if any path is better or worse. I think the second path to fix the flaw, I think is better. But sometimes you can't do that. But also sometimes you're not willing to pay the price. So what do I mean by lie to yourself to overcome that? Well, basically you have something that makes you uncomfortable, at least in your subconscious. You might not acknowledge it. You might make up all these excuses, whatever. Maybe you don't like taking pictures because you don't like how you look in pictures, whatever. Let's say that's a flaw. So you think you're ugly. However, you can affirm yourself. You can kind of warp your own perception of yourself by telling yourself something about yourself and doing it over and over again until your subconscious starts to believe it. So that's like the affirmation stuff and everything. However, I find that's really hard seller. It's the air conditioning is really bad. I'll see how the audio quality is. I might record the video. However, you're just think about it. You can lie to yourself, you can warp your perception through affirmations, things like that. But it's really hard to lie to yourself. Very hard. Very hard thing to do. But you can do it. I don't really have a lot of success in it, but if you want to do that, you can. And for some things, you have to. So, for example, you as a guy, you're going up to a girl, you're going to ask her out on a date. You're cold approaching, whatever. You've never seen this girl before. You think she's hot. You're going to ask her on a date. You go up to her and she says, no, you're ugly as fuck. There are three different ways you can take that. You can be angry and you can be fuck you or whatever. Whatever, I hate this world or whatever. And you can have anger. You can be sad. Why am I so ugly? The world hates me. Why was I born this way? Or number three, you can say the good thing, which is what I would say because I'm confident in myself and I don't, I'm not insecure about my attractiveness anymore. But what I would say is this is, oh, you might think I'm ugly, but I know there's someone out there that thinks I'm handsome. Or I would say, you're just not the girl for me. Thank you for letting me know. Like, truthfully, you're not attracted to me. I don't want to be in a bad relationship where I'm stuck in a relationship with someone who's not attracted to me, or I could be not attracted to her. So thank you for being truthful. And you're not hurt by that. You're not angry or whatever. And if you are insecure, you don't like, or you do think subconsciously, you don't think you're handsome or you're beautiful or whatever, you will react that way. You'll be angry or sad. And you'll think all girls are like this or that if you're angry, or why does the world hate me? And so that's one path. Another path is you can try to fix your flaws. So how do you fix them? For my skin, let's talk about my skin. I had bad skin, bad acne in middle school and high school, starting end of middle school. It took about 7, 8 years of trying different products. I tried going to a dermatologist. He didn't help. He didn't give me any information. I went on YouTube. I did a ton of research and I was constantly researching all that stuff. But it took basically 7 years to fix my skin. And so that's the thing you have to do is all these flaws, to fix them, come with a price. Okay, you can, for example, it took me, let's say you want to lose weight. Well, you got to start changing your habits. You got to do calorie counting. Maybe you bring a scale with you whenever you go to a restaurant, you count your calories. That's the extreme, but I think if you want to do that, you should do that. Maybe you do calorie restriction, and then maybe you're hungry at night, but you have to force yourself not to eat. Maybe you start to do 10,000 steps a day or whatever. You have to have a price for that. And the price has to be right for you. Like for me, I used to be insecure about my height. I'm only 5'9", which is average. Any guy, you ask them if they're shorter than like 6 foot, they want to be taller. And you can ask them. I could get that bone surgery where they break the leg bones in you and they put in splints and your bones grow back and you grow taller. But that there's a risk of never being able to walk again, and it costs a ton of money and insurance doesn't cost it. So that's not a risk. That's not a price I'm willing to pay. That's a risk that's too high. Who knows in the future? I never do that. But, you know, remember, and there's a famous character in Game of Thrones. There's the dwarf in the beginning of the Game of Thrones. I never watched Game of Thrones, but I remember this quote from parts of the video, parts of the TV show I've seen before on YouTube or clips of it, whatever. Where there is the dwarf who is a Lannister, one of the noble houses, but he's a dwarf. He's seen as lesser than everyone in medieval society. And then there's Jon Snow, the bastard, who everyone looks down upon on bastards. And the dwarf tells Jon Snow, you wear your flaws like armor. Use them to your advantage. Use them because you can't change them. And he's right on that. Some things cannot be changed. It's just a fact of life. And so, but like I said, those are the two options for you. Or you can continue to be insecure. And what happens is you're afraid to look yourself in the mirror for what happens in your life. You live a fear driven life. For example, if you're insecure about making money, you will have worse relationships with the people, your friends who make more money than you. You might still have friends with them, but that will always strain your relationships because you're envious of them, but you're not willing to put in that work to make more money. Or you're not willing to do something to make more money, get a better job or a harder job or work harder, whatever it is. But you have to realize something. You are responsible for everything you become. If you sat in front of God before you were born and he asked you, as you were a soul, and he asked you, when you die, what are the characteristics, what are the qualities that you have, what personality you have, what you did, and you asked God, and this is from Alex Hormozy, and you said, I wanted to become the most courageous person possible, have the most courage or whatever. God wouldn't say, you're going to get an ordinary life. He would say, I'm going to give you the worst monsters possible that make you fear so much that you run from your life and that you hate so much. And you are going to have to overcome those monsters. And you're going to become the most courageous because you defeated the strongest monsters. You overcome your fear of the strongest monsters. So then you're the most courageous person. For the wisdom guy, if you ask for the most wisdom, you're the wisest man. You were like the three the three wizards who went to visit Jesus before he was born or whatever and watch his birth or whatever. Then guess what he would say? Well, to do that, I gotta put you in as many experiences as possible. And you gotta experience a ton of failure, a ton of wins, a ton of losses for you to know what not to do and what to do in life. And then you can show that to the, you know, other generations, the people younger than you if you want. You don't have to. But that's just the thing with wisdom. And so that's the truth. You can't be like you have to part of this is you have to have a locus of control over yourself. So you can't blame the world because you are responsible for everything. No matter what happens, you're responsible. Okay? There are some things you can't change in life, but you can change your how you react to them. You can accept that these obstacles that God puts in your place are ways to grow instead of lamenting them. The suffering of life is how you grow. That's why there's the famous Ryan Holiday book, The Obstacle is the Way. And it's true. I've never read that book, but I can tell what it's about from the title. But it's true. The obstacle in your way is the way forward in your life. God puts those in your way for you to overcome them, to grow through them. And now it will suck, but you have to do that. And so, like I said, don't listen to all the bullshit about your environment shapes you. You must have that locus of control, your internal locus of control. And like I said, I may never be able to be a sprinter in the Olympics. Maybe I could if I put my full effort into it. That's all I did, and I had enough money for it. I could do it. I guarantee you. I have enough confidence in myself for that. I was never the sprinter, the good sprinter, or the good swimmer of the high school team, but I overcame that. And maybe I want to overcome my fear of snorkeling. But you have to overcome that. So you have these flaws in front of you. God puts obstacles in your way. Your friends tell you what's wrong, or you can self contemplate. That's really hard. That's what I did because I didn't have any friends about your flaws and then overcome them. That's the way forward in life. And so I would much rather have friends who judge me and hold me to a higher standard. However, that's the end for the first part of the video. I'll probably have another 5 minutes because I want this to be a shorter video. I have to do a shorter video, 30 minutes long. I want to talk about life updates. The big thing is Walmart has accepted me for orientation, so I've gotten the job. I didn't think I was going to get it, because the last time I worked at Walmart for like 3 or 4 months as a cashier, I quit and they didn't want me to quit. They complained about me not putting in a 2 weeks notice. When I told them, I told everyone around me, all the people who worked with me, that I was quitting in 2 weeks. I never put in an official notice, but yeah, that was the thing. However, that didn't hold me back, I guess, because they will not hire you again for like gross misconduct. So if you're stealing or something and you got fired, but they're okay with if you quit and you just didn't show up again. I don't know for sure, but they accepted me. I'm happy for that. I'm gonna be at the place, the Walmart. I'm gonna be a one of those online shopper people, like gets people online orders, put them all in the carts, and then they take them out to the people who are parked and hand them their groceries. I'm gonna be one of those people, and that's one of the better jobs. That was one of the jobs I hoped to get. I was a cashier and I was one of those people who watched self checkout. I didn't like it. I don't like handling other people's money. And there is a story about what happened when I was a cashier. I don't like being a cashier. That I would rather those were my two best jobs. I think would be like a stocker who stocks the shelves or unloads trucks, or number two would have been the online shopper, and I got it, so I'm happy. And it's in a pretty good place of town. It's in the southern, uh, eastern part of Charlotte, which is a richer, um, and because it's a richer neighborhood, less crime. And so of course there is still more crime than when I where I was, because I used to be in like a small town of like less than like 30, 40,000 people, but now I'm in a huge city with 800,000 people, I think. But yeah, that's the big update in my life. Um, I'm happy. I got that job. I got to find a place to rent. I'm thinking about getting a place that's 1 bedroom and I share a bathroom. I don't like doing that, but it's really cheap for my finances, and I'll be able to save up more money to pay off my debts, my, credit card debts I'm racking up, and also my college debt, the $4,000 plus the $10,000 I have from before going to regular colleges. And so I can pay those off a lot faster if I'm only paying plus utilities like $1,000 a month compared to, $2,000 a month. And I might not be able to have to get a cosigner if it's cheaper. I have to see. And so I got that job. I'm happy. That's like the life update, because I just did a life update 2 days ago when I posted it yesterday. Sorry for the late update. I was lazy. That's one of my flaws. Sometimes I am lazy. But I did post it. So, but yeah, that's it for really the video. I'm outside Barnes and Nobles. I'm in my car doing this video. What I gotta do is I gotta find a self-storage place to put everything in my car in a self-storage so I have more space in my car. I want more space in my car. And two, if I find a place to live I can only stay there for a month, I don't have to repack everything or anything. I can just leave it in the storage unit because a lot of it is books. Um, and so that's what I really have to do. I got to find a place to live. That's the goal and also get through orientation. That's on Tuesday. I have my orientation, so I know they accepted me. But yeah, that's it for the video. It's almost been time. Have a fantastic day. Outside today. I want to, I guess, adapt to the cold, but I'm wearing a jacket right now. I want to be like Wim Hof, who can wear like no shirt, shorts, and it's snowing, or and he's like fine, and all the people he's trained is fine. So I eventually want to get to that, but that's going to be a lot of suffering because you got to do like cold showers and cold immersion to get your body used to it. Now it's very good for you to do cold immersion, but that would be like a cool goal for the next like month, 2 month, or like not for month, 2 months, but for like next 2 years. Because for the next 2 years, a really big part of my life is building up muscle, because I want to get myself to like 170, 180 in like 10% body fat, because it's a lot easier to maintain muscle than gain muscle, especially later on in your life. You start to lose the ability. You're not as good at gaining muscle. You can still gain muscle, but it takes a lot longer and it's a lot harder, and you have to push yourself a lot more, but it's easier to maintain that. And so I want to, while I'm still 23, 24, 25, I want to build that muscle up. And so that gives me also a good set of fitness. And then I can start working on cardio. I'll probably do a sport. I'll join a sport. But yeah, eventually with the goal with the Walmart job is I have all those days except for Tuesday and Thursday working out at Walmart. And then the Tuesday and Thursday days, I will essentially work a second job at like fast food because I think that's the best. That's the only place that'll accept me for 2 days of work per week. And that'll give me more money to save up to pay off my debts in the next 6 months. By the end of this 6 months, all my credit card debt should be paid off from moving here, and everything. And I should still have like $5,000 saved up. And probably some of my college loans will be paid off from before the $10,000 I still have left. But some of that, probably 5,000 of it will be paid off in the next 6 months. But yeah, this is only temporary. Eventually, once I get my degree by the end of the year, which I'm going on track for, I will basically essentially um, switch my Walmart job over to part time on the weekends and then have my accounting job during the week. And so I got to get into the point where I'm going to be working 8 hours a day every single day or longer, 9 hours because Walmart gives me an hour break. So it's technically 9 hours. But yeah, that's it. So I'll probably be working till like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be working in the mornings. So from like 3 to 4, I'll come over to the nearest Barnes and Nobles, do some work, do my college work, some writing because I'm writing a book. That's one of the things I do. Some law knowledge work if I'm not doing that. So to improve my life, solve the problems in my life, whatever it is, better YouTube videos, whatever it is. And then I will go home, do my workout, do my push-ups and everything, and then go to sleep. And so that's my routine for the next 6 months. Probably long term for the next 2 years, and then eventually this channel will provide some money for me. My books will take off. They're providing like $10,000 a year. Plus this channel might provide max like a couple $1,000s a year after 2 years, maybe. I don't know for sure. And then also my job, my accounting job, that'll make me like 70K a year, 80K a year. And that will be enough for me in the meantime. And I can start improving my life in other way. Get some gym equipment brought into my apartments and stuff like that. Maybe get a home, whatever it is. That's it. That's my goal, long-term goal. Thanks for watching. Uh, to the end, it's a longer video than I thought, 32 minutes. It'll probably take a couple hours to upload on my crappy Wi-Fi at my Airbnb, whatever it is. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. I gotta go face the cold out. I have a jacket, so that's good, but I gotta face the cold out. I'm ready to do it. That's the hard part. It's the win for me to come down here. This is another win to make the video. My job is a win. College classes tonight are gonna be another win. You gotta stack the wins up. What are your wins? That's my question for the day. Hit subscribe and put in the comments what's a win for you. Um, those are my wins for today and for the week. Have a fantastic day. I believe in you. Goodbye. I gotta make better exits. I'm sorry, but maybe you like the cheesy edits, the cheesy exits. I do. I'm good with these videos. They don't have to be very formal. So that's goodbye. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you on Tuesday. Maybe I'll make more update videos. I don't know. My computer battery's about to die. I need to charge it in Barnes and Nobles or write stuff down on pen and paper for the next couple hours, whatever it is. Have a fantastic day. I'll be seeing you. Have your small wins, accumulate your small wins, whatever it is. Don't let your judgment be judged by others and you judge others. That's it. So goodbye.